it's definitely an energy thing. So I have no knowledge of actually being cheated on by somebody that I was in a monogamous relationship with, but I do know what it feels like to be cheated on from my on and off girlfriend. That relationship where y'all never actually stop dealing with each other, but then you see somebody out in public like you out with this thing, like so that feeling I can absolutely understand. When you're dealing with somebody for so long, in hindsight, you can always tell where things started to change. There's only 24 hours in a day. There's only so much attention that we can give. There's only so many texts we can miss before you have to say something is up. Don't allow people to make excuses for what what you internally know to be true. This woman has been consistent. She has been putting me number one. She's always here. She calls me at the same time. Why is the routine off? This is the same strategy that detectives use to find criminals. Look at somebody's routine and where did the routine stray? Where did it go off from? That is where we're going to find a pattern for where we can make our case. The same thing happens with everything else, right? The pattern is going to be thrown off because someone's attention is no longer on you. They no longer are prioritizing you. Their mind is getting taken over by whatever's going on with that other person, right? So you can always look back in hindsight and know exactly when your partner cheated on you. You just wanted to believe that it wasn't true. You accepted their lies and you made excuses for it. My mic is muted.
All right. Go ahead, Sir
Hale. These are great responses. But I'm going to give you guys some of my research that I've conducted over a span of time. This is not empirical evidence, but this is something that I've accumulated over my years. Number one, if she paints her hands and her toes white, focus on yourself, bruh, she a cheater. Those kind of women typically are fast. And if she throws on eyelashes and waist trainers, focus on yourself. Your woman cheating. The big thing is, if women who are cheating, she disqualifies her man. This is a huge one that so many men miss. She disqualifies your efforts. So you show up to events that she asks you to. It's not good enough. You're trying to be a good father and spend more time with the kids. It's not good enough. You try to be a better listener. It's not good enough. You plan dates and dinners and outings with her. It's not good enough. Typically, when a woman is cheating, she has to justify what she is doing wrong. And if that means she has to lie to herself and disqualify your efforts to make herself feel less ashamed for what she's done, she disqualifies you and your efforts. The other thing is, a lot of men are conditioned over time. What do I mean by this? So let's say a woman is not going to be having sex with a man and then next week it changes. Slowly but surely, that conversation with the other person or persons is 2023. Slowly but surely, the pattern changes. So you guys were having sex 8 times a month. And then it goes down to about 5, maybe 3. And then next thing you know, you're hoping to get some and you're trying to figure out what you did. You're being conditioned over time to not expect it, but to appreciate it whenever she decides that you're worthy of having it. So you're being conditioned. So watch out for that. The other thing is her needs become unclear. So she's always mad, always got a problem. But when you ask her to sit down and talk about it, there's a whole lot of ambiguity there. She really can't talk to you and express in detail what's going on, because if she does, that gives you an opportunity to fix it. Well, she's cheating. She don't want you to fix it. She needs it to stay a problem to justify her bad behavior. So watch out for that. The other thing is she needs to find herself. She needs to find herself because, she done had your kids and, she's been a housewife and she just needs to figure out who she is again. She's been doing everything the right way and she doesn't know who she is. She's probably on the verge of cheating. And here's the last thing. They always need affirmations. Everything that they listen to is affirmations about how beautiful they are and how great and wonderful they are. A lot of times when women are doing wrong, they need to keep feeding themselves lies to make themselves feel better about themselves because their decisions really are making them feel like crap. So now this isn't empirical evidence, but this is stuff that I've seen over my years of experience. And I hope that you guys take that. My mic is muted.
All right, go ahead, Purple Pill Pod. Shai, you want to say something?
Not the white toes, bruh. I love the white toes, bruh.
White toes,
I'm not gonna lie. I legit was like, let me go off camera
bro.
real quick.
White toes. Damn, they ain't safe either.
I'll be right back.
Shit.
Nah, well, I would just say a guilty conscience can sometimes be a really clear sign, especially if the person's kind of narcissistic or like if the girl has any cluster B disorders, they'll definitely sometimes be very guilty conscious about what they're doing, accusing you all the time of cheating, but really they're the ones that are probably doing it. I also think that if a girl doesn't want to get caught, especially those cluster B type girls, you're never gonna find out. Like they're going to hide it so well, you're never gonna know. And another thing is like they'll feel like they're cheating on their affair partner when sleeping with you. So you can tell just when you have sex with them because they'll feel so weird and it'll feel so awkward, or they don't want to do it at all. Like, and it's because like they literally feel like they're cheating on their affair partner. A woman can only really like be intimate with one person at a time, kind of, unless she's very weird and damaged. You just got to be careful today because there's a lot of women that went through trauma at a young age, and I like that's something that a lot of guys I think should be aware of as soon as possible. I've dated a couple of girls that like had a lot of like trauma at young ages, and that shit manifested later on in crazy ways, and it was something that I wish I would have avoided, but you can't even see it because they're lying to you and they're lying to everybody else like the whole time. So I don't know. I really don't think that there is a lot of signs to know when somebody's cheating on you. Except like I said, guilty conscience maybe. Um, it's really like somebody else said. I think they said like the energy, and that's the easiest way to tell. Like the energy is going to be completely different. But also be careful though when you think that because I think the novelty wears off in every relationship. I don't think that there's any relationship where the novelty is going to wear off or the honeymoon phase doesn't go away. And guys shouldn't sit there and be insecure and think their girl's cheating on them just because y'all aren't fucking 8 times a month anymore. Like sometimes women's libidos are different. Sometimes they only want to fuck 2 weeks after their period. Like guys shouldn't sit there and just think, oh, since she's having sex less with me, she's automatically cheating on me, because that's something that I think a lot of guys get insecure about in the space, and it's not good to cause arguments over that shit when they're really not cheating on you or doing anything wrong.
Okay. Figure Mike says, "Do white tips count?" Sorry, Hale.
Those are the worst. Sorry to report that, but
The French manicurists don't do it.
French manicures mean that they're on the brink of hoism, but it doesn't mean that they're quite there.
Ooh.
Full white polish does, though.
I think that the sex part of it, I think that is more of a clear sign than anything. If it reduces dramatically and there's no medical issue, because if a woman is really feeling good about you, then she's going to desire you. She's going to want to please you. And once that starts to fade, then you're going to run into some issues. She might just be going somewhere else. If it just comes out of nowhere, like where she just wants to stop, because again, like we were both saying, it's like they're not going to want to share that. It'll be like, because they'll have two dudes, but they're going to give one of them much more than they give the other. Like they'll just give you just enough to keep it to where they're saying they're doing it right, barely making it, just marginal effort, right? And the other guy, she's going to feel really good about and be popping it and doing everything for him, because that's if a female is really into you, she's going to make sure, even if she can't do certain things, she's going to improvise. I promise you. If a woman feels a certain way about you, she's going to do whatever it is in her power to please you.